So, Aden,
What's up?
can Christian couples,
What's up?
what's up, man? So, I have a question.
Yes.
Can Christian couples live together before marriage?
Well, I guess they can.
Technically, they can.
I guess the better question would be, should they live together before getting married?
That is a good question.
Let's talk about that.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
So, before we start, just a little disclaimer.
Little
all
disclaimer.
Right?
Here
Little
we go.
disclaimer. We're not here to be judgmental about this.
Not at all.
And we don't want to come and like in your face and try and sort you out or anything.
Yeah.
And because we see you and we see your heart and we want to actually help you just in a good conversation
Yeah.
of
'Cause
how to actually
you
navigate.
might be wondering about this.
No, you might be wondering.
You may have friends that wonder about this. Maybe you yourself, you are in a dating relationship or you're engaged to get married,
Yes.
currently living together. This is not to put you off. It's not to judge you, scare you. We want to have a real, honest conversation today.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest about it. People have like legitimate reasons.
There are
why
a lot
they-
of legit reasons why people choose to live together.
And I mean, these reasons makes logical sense when
True.
I think of it. Like,
Yeah.
it makes logical sense. The first one, that's usually one of the big ones, is it's financially reliable. Or
Yeah.
it's a financial reason we're living
yeah, it's
together.
cheaper to live together
So
than
much
two separate
cheaper.
like places.
And all
I
of
think
that.
another reason why people live together is we obviously want to test our compatibility.
Hmm.
You know, like if I'm going to commit to you for my whole life, I want to make sure that we'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like test driving a car. You know,
Yeah,
I want to
does
make
it
real
work?
sure before I buy it.
Yeah,
So
that makes 100%
Yeah.
sense. And one of the actually things, this is a bit more of a deeper one, is that one of fear of divorce. Maybe you
Yeah.
grow up with parents that got divorced, so you don't want to make that same mistake. So you're just
Yeah.
taking it very like in a very safe
slow.
way.
Yeah, you want to
know,
go slow.
Go slow and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I understand that completely.
Yeah. Another like really logical one, I guess, is people that are engaged anyway to be married. So they're like, we are anyway gonna get married like in a year or a couple of months or whatever. So we're just gonna move in together so long because why not? You know,
Why not?
we are already committed to one another, and this won't make a difference.
It's eventually getting there, so we
Yes.
might as well go.
Yeah.
And the other one is that it's super convenient.
super convenient.
Super. I remember when we started dating, and like me and my wife, and we got engaged. Like it was so inconvenient to actually just go home in the evenings. You know,
Yeah,
and
if
keep
you're
that part
caring
separate.
together, you're at each other's homes.
Yes, man.
Like,
But now marriage is convenient, which
Yeah,
is a good thing. So
true.
I understand why people would think that way. But here's the question: does
if
it
those
really
are
work?
the reasons, yeah.
Yeah. Does it really work?
Does it really work? Because we actually have some pretty scary, I have to say this correctly, statistics.
Statistic.
Statistics.
Started.
Statistics. Yes, there we go.
Statistics.
Statistics.
Sticks. Statistics.
Stats.
Stats.
Stats. Let's just go with stats.
Let's go with stats.
Because
There's a lot
we
of
have
stats.
some pretty scary stats when it comes to marriage, divorce, compared to couples that live together before they get married and couples who do not live together before they get married.
So the first one is couples that live together before they get married actually have a 46% higher chance of divorce compared to those who don't.
That's crazy.
That's like a 50% if you
Yo,
think
that's
about
crazy.
it. Right? No, that's a crazy amount.
Yeah, another pretty scary one, and these are really reliable studies that were done. But it says 60% of couples who live together before marriage will actually end up not getting married at all.
Just that's crazy.
You'll just end up being roommates forever, right?
So 60% of those people.
Yeah.
And did you know that of those people that actually get married,
The 40%.
the 40%,
Yeah.
that do marry, actually 5 out of 6 of them will be divorced within 3 years.
That's not a great statistic.
That's
I have
crazy.
another one that's pretty scary. 80% of those living together, they will either break up before they get married, or they will probably end up getting divorced soon after getting married. 80%, which is
80% of
crazy. It goes on to say only 12%, get this, only 12% of couples who live together before marriage
Sure.
actually make it past the 10-year mark of marriage.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
Just because you chose to live together.
So that means 88%, right? I'm good with I'm
Pretty,
really bad at math.
We're pastors. We don't do math.
Yeah, we
but
don't do math. I was elected to lead, not to read. So that
That's
means
the motto of life.
88% of couples
88.
will end up getting divorced before they even reach the 10-year mark. that's scary.
Yes, and it's crazy to think that these stats are so high, and these stats aren't stats of like just Christians. This is stats of just a normal.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily
It's a
based
secular
on
study. It's
just people outside or inside the Christian faith. It's a very inclusive.
So it
kind
doesn't
of
actually
overview.
matter if you're religious about this
Yeah.
thing. The problem is that if you live together before marriage,
Stats are stacked against you.
so stacked against
Say that
you.
5 times faster.
Stats are stacked against you,
stacked
stacked against you.
Stats are stacked against you.
Couples who live together
Yeah.
before marriage, just by the way, have lower levels of happiness,
Sure.
of actual sex drive, and satisfaction in
Sexual
sex.
satisfaction.
That's crazy.
That's bad.
So if you want a good sex life one day, just hold out. Just
Yeah.
wait for
So
marriage.
this paints a pretty grim picture, like going forward for couples who decide to live together.
Yeah.
This is not meant to scare you,
Not at
my
all.
friend. It's not meant to
But just to
condemn you.
see.
That's just a fancy way of saying like
No.
judge you in a sense, like don't judge
She used
me.
the big church word.
Use the big church word, the C
Condemn.
word.
The
But
C word.
this isn't meant to do that. But I think it is good that we read this because it does give us a pretty good overview of just what your odds are of being in a happy marriage for the rest of your life when you choose to live together versus when you choose to wait before moving in together.
Yeah, and so I think the question we would then want to ask is this: why? You know,
Why do people do it?
What's the real reason? If people
Yeah.
see this, why would they do this? So Tim Keller actually explains this concept.
This is a pretty cool concept.
It's a pretty good
Yeah.
concept. He says that all of us, we are like dispenser of goods. So we constantly.
I want to say, I
give
don't know
goods.
how I would feel if someone calls me a dispenser.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's not
I haven't
very
used that one as a
romantic.
pickup line on my wife
Yeah,
yet. So
like you're so beautiful.
oh.
You're the most beautiful dispenser I've ever met in my life.
girl, you make me think of a dispenser of goods.
Yeah.
Don't use that as a pickup line,
Yeah.
please don't.
But the concept is pretty cool.
Concept is that we obviously give goods and we receive goods within our
Yeah.
life,
In
right?
any
So,
relationship, it's give and take.
give and take.
Yes.
And so as we're giving out these goods, that's usually like when we start dating and we get engaged, that's sort of like your marketing phase, right?
get it,
You,
yeah.
you impress one another and you're like there. And when you're in marriage, you still want to impress one
Yes,
another, which is good. But the problem is it gets to a point where if I stop impressing the person, they might actually leave. And the thing is, if I do commitments like getting, living together and taking on, emotional capacity for one another, a bit of a deeper connection, and we're still in the marketing phase, what it does, it actually creates a space where I'm scared that if I do not perform for the other person, if I do not give the goods, then they're going to leave.
Makes it easier to quit.
It makes it so easy to quit because now I don't get what I want out of this relationship. So now I'm out.
Yeah.
And the thing is that's the difference that marriage brings into the picture because marriage is a covenant, it's a promise. And in this promise, it's actually saying like, it's not about the goods and services like we have between one another,
Yeah.
but it's actually about the promise. And
So-
that creates safety.
What we're actually saying is we want to close the back door.
Exactly.
We're talking about the back door principle.
Yes.
Because the thing is, if I go into a relationship and I know I'm in it for the long run, I'm committed, I want to see this thing through, but for some reason my partner still has a back door open, being like they can, if this is no longer fun, it's no longer
I'm out.
fulfilling, it's no longer good enough or whatever, they can just go, listen, I'm out. Like, I'm done. Cheers.
I'm out
See
of here.
you. I would not want to be in a marriage like that, where
No.
there's a back door. We
No.
want to close the back door. Make
Wanna
sure
close it.
that when you're in that relationship, you are super committed. There's no quitting, right?
And that's exactly the difference between covenant and contract. So
Yeah, because a lot of people, for a lot of people, marriage is a piece of paper. It's
Yeah,
a contract. I
it's a
signed
contract.
it, right?
Yeah, but it's not. So a contracts agreement is actually, I have a promise that I'm going to keep, and you have a promise
Yes.
you're going to keep. If I break my promise,
Then we're done.
Then we're done.
Contract's over.
So it's all determined on whether we are faithful. But now the beautiful thing is a covenant actually says it doesn't matter whether we're faithful. We made a promise to one another.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter if I now stop making coffee for my wife in the mornings.
Yeah.
I'm still married to her.
Yeah.
It doesn't change
You
anything.
will still make her coffee.
I will-
because
I will
you're,
eventually.
you're a pretty good husband,
I'm a
from
pretty
what
good
I
husband.
hear.
No, definitely top 5 that I know of. I only know 3. So
I'm really hoping with this conversation that our view of marriage would become bigger,
Yeah.
right? Because if your view of marriage is really small, then you'll settle for a lot less. But the crazy thing and the beautiful thing about marriage is if you look at one of the most accurate ways that God designed to show us what his relationship with us can and should look like. The closest thing on earth that we have to represent that kind of relationship is a marriage.
It's a marriage.
And that's a pretty big view then. That kind of puts marriage up here when it comes to the way I should look at it, the way I should think about it. So I'm really hoping in this conversation that our viewpoints and those watching, that your view of marriage will become bigger and not, you won't settle for like a tiny little picture of marriage.
Yeah, and I think that's the scary part of it, is that sometimes people just slide into marriage because it's the next step, you know.
Yeah.
It's the next move.
It's the logical thing that
it's
needs
the logical
to happen.
thing, but it's not. It's so much more than that.
So
it's
much more than that.
It's such a big step to make, and if you kind of save the things like living together, having sex before marriage, all those things, and you keep it for that thing, it just, it's so much better.
Yeah.
But there's actually a few people that gave us questions, and so we got our good friend Eddie.
What's up, Eddie?
Come and join us.
Yes.
If you haven't met Eddie, he's one of the most handsome people that work at our church. Definitely top 3. Me and him there.
Yeah.
You can think who's the third
Sup,
one.
homies?
What's up?
But Ed, so apparently there's some messages that came through with some questions.
So the homies have questions, guys.
The homies
The homies have
questions.
questions.
Great.
The homies have
Okay,
questions.
number 1. So let's say you're engaged. Right.
I'm not, I'm married.
Yeah.
But let's say,
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically speaking.
let's say you're engaged.
Let's say I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wouldn't that
come
be
on,
nice?
Ed.
Crazy.
Ed's single, so I'm just saying, ladies.
Crazy life.
Just saying.
Anyway, so why would it be a problem for us to live together now? Like,
Because we're engaged. So,
Yeah.
Because
Because we're engaged,
wedding's
yeah.
just a formality, right?
so we are gonna get married.
yeah, we're gonna get married. So why can't I live with my?
Well, I mean, if getting married is just a formality to you, why not just take care of that formality and come and get married here at our church office like tomorrow? Because we actually have people in the office that can help you get married. We have a bunch of witnesses. So if it's simply about the fact that to you marriage is a formality, why not just take care of the formality?
Just get it done.
Get it done, do it. Because that actually begs the question, if it's a formality, but you still don't want to do it, I want to ask, why not?
Why not?
Why are you hesitant? Why are you doubting? Like, are you really sure you
'Cause-
want to get married?
Yeah, because to do the formality, just by the way, as one of my friends once said, it is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But for some reason, we think it's difficult, lemon difficult. And I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Sure.
But that's the point.
Okay.
It's actually a very simple thing to
Yeah,
do.
so if it's a formality, then take care of the formality.
just
Get
like,
it done.
Just get the admin out of
Yeah.
the way.
Just do it.
Okay, numero 2. I just simply can't afford a wedding.
Weddings are expensive.
broke.
Weddings
broke.
are expensive.
Super expensive, and I understand that. But it's a really easy concept. Marry now, party later.
Marry now, party
Party
later.
later.
Marry now, party later. Marry now, party later.
It's that simple. One of my friends actually, lockdown hit.
Yeah.
And he actually got married with his family, like on their
He
stupid
didn't get
home.
married with his family.
No. With his family present, with
That's
his
a
wife.
different episode.
That's a different
That's a whole
episode.
different
That's a different
episode,
episode.
bro.
He's my church of Carlton.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually got married with his wife in front of family, and
Yeah.
it was a nice little thing. And then literally a year later, we only
Yeah.
had the party. And
Because
that's a beautiful
remember,
thing.
marriage is not the wedding occasion. Like,
Okay.
100%.
wedding occasion, super important. You do want to celebrate, make a
Yeah.
big deal about it, but that's not the thing.
That's not marriage.
If that's the thing keeping you from getting married, my friend, then you have a very small picture about marriage. So,
okay.
marry now, party later.
Marry now,
Marriage is,
party later.
marriage is not the party.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 3. We live together, but in separate rooms.
Oh.
Sure you do.
do.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I've actually heard this one a lot before. So we live together, but we love and follow Jesus. So we're keeping it pure. We're in separate bedrooms. Yo, I don't know, eh?
I don't know. Like, it feels to me that the benefit of marriage is living together in the same room and enjoying each other's company and space.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is that we think that living together is gonna give the option of like we can just stay separate. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is if you are actually pulling it off.
Yeah, so if you're getting
Yes.
this right, if you are a couple and you live together, but
There's a big issue.
you're keeping it pure, so you're in separate bedrooms, my friend, then I'm gonna suggest you have a much bigger problem than what you realize.
100%,
Because seriously, I love my husband a lot, and I know like when we were engaged, that like phase, man, it was so difficult to keep our hands off each other, and it's because it's a good thing. We were designed for intimacy, right?
Yeah,
So I'm like, if you're getting it right, then
then I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I'm very scared. I'm very scared. Next question.
Okay, so the next question is the money part, the finance. Is really just cheaper to stay together.
True, because you're sharing rent,
Sharing
the
rent.
costs of living, maybe even sharing petrol, like something like that.
But even if it's just the case of actually have to live with someone,
Yeah.
that's simple. Just
Get
get
a
a
buddy.
friend.
Get a buddy to live
Get a
with.
roommate.
Get
Get
a
a buddy.
roommate, yeah.
Get yourself a frikkie. I had a frikkie. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what a
Yeah.
frikkie is.
A
but-
frikkie is the Afrikaans for a homie.
Homie.
Yeah. And a homie is the Afrikaans for a frikkie.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so you just know. So get yourself a
Context.
frikkie.
Get a roommate.
Yeah, get
So,
a
and
roommate.
if you like don't have someone, like what's the case then?
That's a bigger problem because if you say no, I don't have friends like that, then maybe
I don't
you're
have anyone to live with.
just accept the person that you're dating or engaged to. The problem is that maybe you guys don't have friends outside of you.
Yeah, which
And
is
it
also
sucks.
quite scary.
That's unhealthy.
Because obviously from a Christian perspective, we believe in like good
Community.
Christian community, man. I need people around me.
Yes.
I'm not doing life by myself. So if it's purely because of it's cheaper, because you're sharing electricity and like water and petrol or whatever, then why not just get a friend, a roommate to live with you? Like,
Do it.
does it have to be your significant other? I don't think so.
Doesn't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be them.
Yeah. Okay.
Question?
That sorts it. Next question. Marriage is just a piece of paper.
It is, but also it is.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't.
It is, but it isn't. You
Yeah.
know,
That's what it is.
Marriage. So here's the concept. Marriage. If just the first question,
Yeah.
waiting for it. If marriage is a piece of paper, then just do
Then
it.
just do it.
Then just do it.
Okay,
But marriage is so much more. Like we said earlier,
Exactly.
it's a covenant. It's a promise. It's a thing
Yeah.
that God actually explains a beautiful picture of it. And
Yes.
so maybe the question is, maybe your picture of marriage is just small. At the
Maybe
moment.
it's small.
And I think it just needs to grow. And
Yeah.
the way that it grows is we trust God with it.
We
actually.
trust God to come and reveal to us
The depth of marriage.
through His Word, His Spirit, His people. So maybe you just need to enlarge your picture on marriage.
That's good.
Okay. Next question. How will we know if we're compatible?
This is a good one because I think this is the most kind of common one as well. As people go, well, we need
Like
to test
Welcome
this.
Common or like.
Dude, I married a guy from Velkom.
Oh, really?
Just saying.
Is he from Velkom?
He's from
I never
Velkom.
Come
knew that.
on, bro.
He's from Velkom,
Alright.
like a Velkom. So
Yo, well, I'm from Kroonstad, so there's not much difference.
it was worse.
It's like,
No,
yeah,
I'm
it's
joking.
definitely
still
worse.
loves you, bro.
We went to
Jesus still
Velkom to buy stuff. So
But
that's
this
okay.
is the one that I've been hearing a lot. Like, we need to figure out if we're compatible. So we're going to try living together to see if it works.
Yeah.
Right? I hate that reasoning.
If people ask it, if they want to figure that out, the answer is no. It doesn't work. You'll never actually really know if you're compatible before you get married. And that's a beautiful thing of it. Because here's the thing, right? When myself and Danielle started dating, when we got engaged, like we knew about each other. We knew each other. We like spent
Yeah.
time with one another.
It's
But
still a little bit superficial.
but
though.
it's still a bit superficial because there's no full-on commitment. There's no full vulnerability and
which
full
is
trust.
which is normal.
Which is normal, but
Yeah.
the moment you get married, man, you're so vulnerable.
Yeah.
You are so in a place where you need to trust the other person, and that's the beautiful thing. There, you get to know the real person,
Yeah.
and that's where you become compatible. And that's what God does.
I also want to say the whole kind of problem with the compatibility test is you are relying on your own ability to figure this out. So I'm relying on myself to figure out, oh, are we going to make it forever? Instead of trusting that God is a good father and He's going to give me a good gift, right? So I almost want to challenge the thinking and going, is it up to you? Like, is it up to you to figure it out? Or can you actually trust God that He's going to give you a good partner?
Yeah.
He knows what you need.
He knows
And
it.
if I can just be honest, like, I am not a car that you can test drive. If you want this, you better put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Okay?
If
Like,
you want it, shoot
you want
put
it?
a ring on it.
put a ring on it. Like, I don't want to be thought of as something that you can test. And if you don't like it, you just get another one.
Yeah.
Like, because then you actually have a low viewpoint of me.
Of a person, yeah.
Yo.
There's no value.
Like,
Yeah.
if you like it, put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it, man. That's good.
All right.
Last one.
And the last question.
Yeah, there we go.
Last
Nice,
question.
nice.
Yay. Okay. What if the other one just doesn't agree?
Okay, so you're living together,
Yeah.
and maybe you're
Like one of you just decides, okay, you know what? I've got this conviction,
okay.
and then
The other one
the
does.
other one
doesn't
doesn't
agree.
get the conviction.
Okay.
Well, I would just say don't make any hasty decisions.
Don't, yeah.
Like, just don't rush into anything. Like, relax.
Relax.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. another good thing to do is to get a third party involved. So
Yeah.
get a person that doesn't choose a side,
Yeah.
maybe
Someone
someone
you
at
trust.
church,
Yeah.
in your community, maybe even a church
And again,
leader.
this is why community is so important, right?
and
You
that's why
can't
it's
figure
so
this
good.
out alone.
Yeah, and then let them be the mediator, like in the conversation, and
Yeah.
help you guys through it. Because
Yes.
maybe you're in a different position where you may be fighting, and you
Yeah.
just need a third person from a different position looking at it and going, "Guys, this is just a little thing. This,
Yeah.
there's something bigger."
Don't make hasty
Right?
decisions. Definitely get some good godly perspective
Good
around
godly
you, people
perspective.
that you trust, and figure it out. You need to figure out, are we going to do this for the long run or not? So, but yeah, that's what
a
I would
good thing.
say.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks for the question.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it,
I
man.
appreciate
Yeah.
it. You can just sit here and make as if you're working.
Pretend like you're
Yeah,
working.
yeah.
No,
I'm
just
gonna do
do
that.
it. So actually, just ending off our conversation.
Yeah.
Very simply put, is that we need to understand this picture. If we want to understand, why we shouldn't get live together before we're married and all
Yeah.
that stuff. The biggest thing we need to understand is who do you trust?
Yes, that's good.
That's a
Yeah.
good question, because if I'm trusting the fact that I'm making my decisions in my marriage regarding finances,
Yeah,
regarding
because it's
sex
cheap,
drive,
it's lacquer, it's
it's
convenient.
lacquer, it's convenient.
Yeah.
Then I'm asking, maybe those things are the Lord of your marriage,
Yeah.
the King of the marriage,
Which is
right?
a fancy way of saying maybe those things are more important in your life than they should be.
Yeah. Or do you actually trust the person that created marriage?
Yeah.
The one, Jesus himself, God,
Yeah.
that created marriage because he made it.
Yeah, and let's be clear. God wants you to have a great marriage.
Yes.
He wants you to have an epic marriage filled with joy, love, happiness, commitment, contentment. And in order for that to happen, we need to trust the way that He designed it.
Yes.
Like the best way to know how to utilize something is to go and ask the person who created that thing. How do I use this? How do I utilize this?
Utilize it well?
And if He designed marriage as the closest representation of relationship on earth that we have with Him, then I want to trust His ways regarding marriage.
Regarding that. So, greatest thing that we want to ask the question that you asked.
The
is-
question, that's like questionception.
Yes,
question
questions-
within
questionception.
Questionception.
Is this, who do you trust
Yeah.
when it comes to marriage?
Yes.
Who
Do you trust yourself?
Do you
Do
trust
you trust your
convenience?
finances? Do you trust your own sexual kind of drive?
What your mom said?
Or
Or-
that?
Yeah, well, your mom said.
Where did
Nia,
you went from
yeah,
sex to
yeah.
mom? But
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo,
Or do
You-
you,
you
or do
went
you
from-
trust God?
Or do you
Like,
trust God?
Yes.
Do you trust
Well,
God?
that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So, thank you for watching.
Hope you enjoyed the conversation.
I hope you enjoyed that. Ed, you're going to look at that camera and then you have to tell them,
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
Do it.
Just do it.
And-
Do it. Just do it.
Make a dream come true.
Make a dream come true. Check you later.
3, 2, 1.
Guten Tag. Today we are going to make breakfast. I mean, I am going to make breakfast. I'm going to show you few tips how to cook some delicious eggs. First, we shall start with the eggs, which is on my left, which is on my left hand side in the top of, oh yes, you got it. Thank you. Now, we are going to smell the egg apparently. No. We are going to smell the egg and then we are going to put it in the stove. A little bit more forward. Careful that you do not burn yourself. Yes, well done. Yes, now we are trying to break the egg. Only using our hands. Now we throw the shelf on our left hand side in the Tupperware. Or just outside of the Tupperware. Yes, very nice. Now we turn the gas stove on. Just making sure the pan does not fall off. Okay. Now very good. Now we turn the pan on. Making sure, yes, here we go. Now we make sure that we butter our toast. Which our bread is on our left hand side in this bag. We are using brown bread for health purposes. Now we will grab the butter on your left hand side. Yes. We are using stock because it's the best. Now we will reach for our butter knife as the eggs are burning. While we find the knife, let me tell you how important it is to always make sure that your surroundings are safe. And we use only when you cannot find your you massage it like a baby chick. We put our toes down and we will start to cut our tomatoes once we find our knife. We have found our tomatoes. Make sure you only buy the best from Woolies. That is a spatula, but you can also use it.
Looks right.
Let me just use my third hand to cut it. As you can see, this experience is very emotional for me. Now we should be careful not to cut ourselves with the knife. Only a few slices of tomato will do. I don't particularly like it, but very fresh tomato indeed. Now we want to make sure we dice it up very nicely. So let's just move to the left-hand side of the table just to dice it up to make sure we don't stab each other here. Very good. Now our egg is almost finished. As we head to the pan and grab the pot, you will notice that we need to scramble it some bit. And our spatula is on our left-hand side on the table. Now you want to really stir it up good, making sure that every single piece of egg is mixed in, the yellow with the whites. That's very nice over there. Looks very good. Now what we want to do is, we want to take our bread, yes, put it on this lid, and then we want to take our egg, which is in the pan, and we want to put it, and there you have it. It's like Tupperware, is it?